March 20th, 2022, Italy. A man was jogging at a beautiful place named Barono when he noticed two large garbage bags. Usually no one litters in these mountains, and the bags seemed suspiciously large and heavy. As he approached, he opened one and found a severed hand. In total, 18 body parts were found in the bags, belonging to a well-known adult film actress. How did this happen? Who did it? What kind of deep-seated enemy would brutally torture and murder a porn star, dismembering her body? To find answers, we need to explore the actress's life and investigate this intriguing case. Hi, my name is Noah, and here we upload documentary videos on famous incidents. Welcome back to Voyage Vault. If you enjoy such interesting documentaries, subscribe to the channel. This case is about Carol Maltesi, a very popular Onlyfans model and adult film star. Carol Maltesi was a 26-year-old girl born in 1995 in Italy. When Carol was a child, her parents got divorced, and her mother raised her alone. Carol loved her mother dearly and understood how difficult it must have been for her mother to raise her alone. Despite the challenges in her childhood, Carol was a very cheerful girl. She enjoyed dancing, styling, and traveling. She loved books and was always learning new languages. Her cheerful and bubbly personality attracted many people. She had many friends, and people liked her a lot. In 2015, Carol was attending a technical university when she discovered she was pregnant. This pregnancy was unexpected, and Carol was just 20 years old at the time. This pregnancy changed her entire life and affected her studies significantly. However, she and her boyfriend showed courage and decided not only to have the child, but also to raise it. Everything was going well until Carol did something very bad, something no committed person wants to happen to them. Carol moved to a new city with her boyfriend. Both of them found jobs. Carol started working as a sales consultant at a shoe store. Their life was going well, but in 2019, Carol fell in love with another man, and their affair continued secretly for several months. Perhaps Carol's boyfriend suspected something was off or noticed something strange in Carol's behavior. However, it took him several months to discover that Carol was cheating on him. When he finally found out, their relationship ended. Carol decided to start a new life with her new boyfriend and leave her child with her ex-boyfriend, the child's father. It wasn't that Carol abandoned her child entirely. She met with her son and sent him money. However, in 2020, something happened that prevented her from meeting her son, and she couldn't even see her ailing mother. That's when the global pandemic hit. Everything shut down, and people went into lockdown. Traveling ceased, and businesses closed. Countless people lost their jobs, and Carol was one of them. She was jobless and couldn't send money to her son. Her own survival became challenging. Carol created a YouTube channel thinking she could share her life experiences and lockdown challenges and monetize the content to earn money. However, she soon realized it would take considerable time to generate a decent income from YouTube. With no other options left, she created an account on OnlyFans. OnlyFans is a platform where OnlyFans creators upload exclusive content to their accounts, and their fans subscribe and pay to view it. The content can vary, but mostly it's nudity and porn. Carol created an account on OnlyFans under the name Charlotte Angie, using a pseudonym instead of her real name. She started posting explicit photos and videos. To her surprise, Carol quickly gained success on OnlyFans. People liked her, bought her subscriptions, and her following grew rapidly. She became quite popular. People invited her to fancy parties and adult photo shoots. She began attending interviews and numerous public events. Her career was touching the sky, but she had to pay a heavy price. Most of Carol's friends had distanced themselves from her, unwilling to support her career choice. Even her boyfriend, for whom she had left her first relationship and child, had left her. Despite losing so much, Carol continued working in the industry. According to her, all the criticism was narrow-minded. In several interviews, Carol said she wouldn't stay in the adult industry long. She'd make some money and fulfill her real dreams. And that's exactly what Carol did. At 25, she moved to a new town and left the adult film industry. The town had only 15,000 residents. Carol found a job at a local perfume shop and life was peaceful, but soon she realized leaving the industry wasn't that easy. She left her new life and returned to her past by her own choice, and that's when she met David Fontana. David Fontana was a 42-year-old banker with a passion for photography, particularly explicit nude photography. He was a married man with a good family, but he still searched for hot girls online for his photo shoots. In October 2020, David met Carol, and he was captivated by her beauty. He found her so attractive that their photo shoots gradually turned into sexual arrangements. He paid her to sleep with him, and Carol agreed. However, their arrangement soon converted into genuine love. They started liking each other so much that in March 2021, just 6 months later, David revealed his affair to his wife and divorced her to be with Carol. He destroyed his long-established home, which was almost as old as Carol, for this new affair. Now, David and Carol were not only in a relationship, but also working together. He assisted her in content creation and took a percentage of her income in return. David didn't mind that Carol worked in adult videos. She was creating explicit content, sleeping with other men, as long as it was professional. It's not that David didn't care about Carol. He was very possessive, and perhaps this possessiveness led him to work with her to keep an eye on her. When Carol's ex-boyfriend tried to reconnect with her, David became so jealous that he threatened him over the phone and twice vandalized his car. Carol's Onlyfans account now had over 30,000 subscribers and rapidly growing. She started creating request-based content where clients told her what to do in videos, and she did exactly that, earning good money. Carol had made enough money from her content to leave the industry and focus on her long-term goals and real dreams. Amidst all this, Carol fell in love with a colleague, Salvatore Dav. Salvatore also worked in the adult film industry. Their love progressed, and Salvatore proposed to Carol. She was delighted and said yes to marriage. Carol wanted to start a new normal life with Salvatore and leave David's influence behind. Carol and David's relationship was highly complex. They weren't just physically involved. David helped with her content creation, taking a percentage of her earnings, and Carol grew tired of this arrangement. She wanted to cut all ties with David to leave the adult industry and start anew. She planned to move back to her hometown with Salvatore, where her first boyfriend and child lived, to care for her son. However, something shocking happened in early 2022. Carol suddenly vanished, and no one knew where she had gone. She stopped updating her social media accounts and occasionally replied to family members with excuses about being busy. Carol's family, friends, and Salvatore grew concerned. When they asked David about Carol's whereabouts, he admitted that they had broken up and claimed he didn't know where she was. Carol's sudden disappearance, without warning, sparked numerous suspicions. On March 20th, 2022, a man was jogging near Barono when he noticed 2 large garbage bags. The bags seemed heavy and suspicious. Curious, he approached them and opened one, finding a severed hand inside. Alarmed, he immediately called the police. The police found a total of 4 bags at the location containing 18 dismembered body parts. The body had been brutally disfigured, making identification nearly impossible. Even determining the sex required laboratory examination. Police, officers, investigators, and forensic teams began their work. To solve the crime, identifying the body was crucial. The forensic department soon revealed that the body belonged to a young woman approximately 5 feet tall with black hair. 11 tattoos were found on her body, most of which had been intentionally damaged or removed along with her skin to prevent identification. Some tattoos were cut out, taking skin with them. The criminals seemingly attempted to prevent body identification, but if the body parts were found, no one could identify the victim. Police released essential information to the public, including descriptions of the tattoos, hoping someone would recognize them. Forensic examination revealed the victim died about a month prior and was stored in a freezer until disposal. This information was made public, captivating Andrea Toritelli, a local journalist and editor. He showed great interest in investigating the mysterious murder. Andrea began his own investigation using available information and wondered why no one filed a missing person report for the victim. Didn't the victim's family or friends notice their disappearance? This question haunted Andrea until March 26, 2022, when police received a call. A man claimed to know the victim's identity, recognizing the tattoos. He revealed the body belonged to Charlotte Angie, a famous adult film actress. Recall that Carol had created her OnlyFans account under the name Charlotte Angie, which was her identity to the world. Thanks to the random guy, everyone now knew whose body it was. With this new information, Andrea continued his investigation. He called Charlotte Angie's agency where she worked and spoke to an adult film actress who claimed to be Charlotte's friend. She provided Andrea with Charlotte's actual phone number. Using this number, Andrea and authorities discovered Charlotte's real name, Carol Maltesi. Andrea called the number several times, but received no response. He then sent text messages, surprisingly getting replies. Andrea texted, "I'm a journalist. I want to interview you about your life in the industry." The response was simple, no. Andrea realized that the person responding wasn't Carol, but her murderer, trying to make everyone believe Carol was alive. Despite Andrea's persistence, the person refused to talk on the phone or send a voice note. Andrea changed his tactics. He texted, "A body was found with tattoos matching Carol Maltesi's. I just want to confirm you're alive." And okay. The criminal, likely unaware the body had been discovered, was startled. He continued chatting briefly before disappearing and not returning. Convinced he had just spoken to Carol's murderer, Andrea shared his gathered information with the police on March 27th. The killer, shaken after speaking with Andrea, realized the police investigation was progressing rapidly and would soon reach him. Panicked, the killer decided to file a missing person report for Carol at the police station to avoid suspicion. On March 27th, David Fontana and Carol's fiancé Salvatore arrived together at the police station to file a missing person report for Carol. Unbeknownst to the police, one of these two men was responsible for Carol's murder. The police summoned them to the interrogation room, where questioning continued until 4 p.m. the next day. On March 29th, the police announced they had arrested a suspect in Carol Maltesi's murder case, David Fontana. David was nervous from the start, contradicted himself. He claimed he hadn't seen Carol in 2 years, a blatant lie. If he hadn't seen Carol in 2 years, why would he file a missing person report after her body was discovered? Eventually, David cracked under police pressure and confessed, revealing what really happened. According to David, on January 11th, he and Carol were shooting a video together based on a fan's request. The video was extreme, involving a bag over Carol's head, bondage, and physical torture, including hitting her head with a hammer, but not too hard to avoid killing her. During the video shoot, David followed the script, hitting Carol's head multiple times, torturing her and beating her. After finishing the video, when he removed the paper bag from her head, he saw Carol struggling to breathe, nearly dead. Unable to watch her suffer, David grabbed a kitchen knife and killed her. After Carol's death, he refrigerated her body for 3 months, dismembered it, and then disposed of it. Detectives found David's story partially fabricated, as he repeatedly changed details during his testimony. Considering his testimony and evidence, detectives formed their own theory. As we know, Carol wanted to leave the adult film industry, move back to her hometown, and start a normal life with her boyfriend Salvatore and reunite with her son. She planned to leave David and the industry behind, which likely motivated David's actions. On January 11th, 2022, Carol shot her final video with David. Detectives discovered that the fan who requested the torture scene was none other than David himself. He created the entire script, including a dominant scene where Carol shares her phone password with David. Unaware that the request came from David, Carol made a fatal mistake by sharing her password. During this scene, David began genuinely assaulting Carol, repeatedly hitting her head with a hammer until she died. After killing her, David didn't immediately dismember her body. Instead, he visited the studio for days, gazing at her lifeless body. Eventually, he purchased tools like a saw and stored her dismembered body in a freezer. With Carol's phone password, David occasionally responded to messages, maintaining the illusion that Carol was alive. He also used her credit card for sporadic shopping to reinforce this deception. On November 24th, 2022, the hearing for this case began. David's lawyers argued that the murder was unintentional, claiming they were merely following the client's orders and things got out of hand. However, the prosecution proved that David himself sent the request, indicating premeditation. The prosecution argued that the motive behind the murder was jealousy or greed. Carol was leaving David for Salvatore, abandoning the industry, and ending their lucrative partnership. On June 12th, 2023, David received his sentence. 30 years in prison plus compensation to Carol's son parents and ex-partner. I think the journalist Andrea Torricelli deserves credit for solving this case. If he hadn't shown interest and conducted his investigation, the case might have gone cold and Carol Maltesi might never have received justice.